person I'm going to introduce to you is Pastor Michelle Watson. She's an author, award-winning, speaker trainer, business coach, business book creation, mentor, a publisher, and a founder of Women Be, and a mother and a wife to the husband. And we are proud to say she's one of our own co-pastors in ICCC. Put your hands together for Pastor Michelle Watson, please. God bless you.
So raise your hand if you are here because you're ready to make 2019 a big one. Great. And raise your hand again if you know that you're here because you need the mindset and the ability to take the actions in order to make that possible. Great. So I wanted to make sure that we're in the right room.
Yes.
Yeah? So if you have a look here, we have a caterpillar. Yeah? And that caterpillar had to go through a process in order to become a butterfly. Yeah? And it had to go through that process in order to live its purpose, because the purpose of it is really to become a butterfly. But unless it goes through the process, that result cannot happen.
Never.
So in life we go through processes, and the process that we go through, we're saying, God, why me? Why has this happened? I'm going through attack, or the enemy is after me, or whatever the case may be. But the truth is, think about the caterpillar if they maybe were in our position now. When they don't know that the butterfly process is what's going to happen, but they're in the middle and they're wondering, what is happening to me? What is this that's covering me? Why am I breaking out? Why do I have wings? And then they will realize the beauty of what they've now become. And that is the process that we go through in life, because we have to go through those challenging moments in order to truly see what we have been gifted with from our birth.
That's right.
And most businesses, without realizing it, they started that way. They actually became a business because of the pain that the owner went through, or because of the pain that they've seen others go through, in order to now say, okay, I think I know how to solve that problem. So sometimes you go through challenges or certain situations because you are the person that is supposed to create the solution for somebody else that is going to go through that challenge. But because we get so caught up in that situation, we don't recognize the lessons that is in that process. And that is how we miss out. So I remember our mommy was telling us about people going through, you know, university, and then in the end, they're realizing that's not what they wanted. And one of the shocking things that I realized throughout the process, let me see if I can change the slide here, is that 95% of individuals never live their true purpose.
For real.
95%.
For real.
The funny thing is 84% of that 95 have never even taken the step in order to go to where their goals and where their passion and their purpose is. But the most shocking thing is 11% actually recognized that, you know what, I have this talent, I have this ability, let me go on the journey of figuring it out, gaining the knowledge, but then they come across the challenges, they come across the obstacles, and they say, you know what, I think it was a lot more comfortable and better over this side, so let me remain here.
On the blue side.
But if they just had allowed themselves to go through that process that I showed you before, that the caterpillar had to go through, the beauty of what they were going through would have been able to show. But they gave up and they turned back. But the funny thing is that tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Never.
Because many times we say, we start those New Year's resolution, and yes, we're going to do this, and yes, I will do it tomorrow. Some may leave this event today, and despite hearing all the good things, all the tips and strategies, they may end up leaving and saying, you know what, I'm going to start it tomorrow. But one thing that I learned from Pastor that he always tells us is that your tomorrow actually starts from today. So when you're saying tomorrow, what is really going to happen tomorrow? If you don't do anything today, nothing's going to happen tomorrow. Nothing at all is going to happen.
Empty lies.
Just empty lies that you're telling yourself. But here's the funny thing. We take time for granted. But have you ever gone to August or maybe Tesco and say to them, you know what, I would like a refund on my time?
Never.
You wouldn't be able to get it. So you can buy a TV, like this man has big, you know, maybe 42-inch TV, and he's not happy with it, so I can bring it back because it doesn't have all the specifications. But you might not be happy with some things in your life, but guess what? You can't bring that back. So you don't focus on that, you focus on what you have now. Because guess what? I can't bring back the years that I wasted, but I can decide what I'm going to do with the ones that I have to come. So this is how you have to treat life, because we insure our phones, our TVs, we insure our car. But the one thing that cannot be replaced, we treat it anyhow. And that's time. I want to see somebody raise their hand if they're able to go back to when they were 2 years old. There's no way. Are you sure? You sure you cannot go to, oh, I mean, Priscilla said in her mind. You know, you can go back and remember when you were 2 years old, but physically you cannot do that. So time is very, very important. And here's the thing. Your life is a book. Your life is a book. I don't want you to think of it that way. A book. You see, I cannot go back and rip out the chapters of the things that I didn't like. The husband that used to beat me, or the pain that I felt, or the depression that I went through. I cannot rip those pages from the book because it's already written. What I can do is decide what is going to be written in my next chapter. That's where I have the opportunity. So we have the ways where we're saying, oh, because of my age, or because of the color of my skin, or because I am a woman, we say that that next chapter is not possible. Or because this person said I am too fat, or this person said I am too slim. And we use those beliefs to determine what our next chapter should be.
Lord have mercy.
But in truth, those were just lessons. Because life comes with lessons. They were just lessons that we needed to grow through in order for us to write what's coming next. And many of the chapters that we write is built on these two things. Belief and fear.
Chapter 1 and chapter 2.
But the funny thing is, fear really stems from the belief. Think about a child that is a year old. If you leave that child in the middle of the road, that child would not cry because of an oncoming car. Let's say 6 months then. Leave them there. They will not cry. They will most likely cry because you've left them alone, but they won't cry because of the danger of the road, because they don't know it yet. They begin to believe it and know it when they've either seen somebody that got hit, or you constantly telling them if you cross the road or you stand in the road, a car will hit you. If you teach that child differently, they will not have that fear. Why am I saying that? There are times we don't start our business and things that we're meant to do because we have people that's telling us, if you put your money into a business, it's going to collapse. If you buy a house, you won't be able to pay the mortgage. They will take it back from you. You don't have the knowledge in order to start a business. And because of those beliefs, we develop a fear around creating what it is that we're meant to do. So if you had developed the fear around going out to do what you would, there would be so many young people now that would not be appreciating what you're having to give. So many parents would miss out on it. If you weren't doing what you are doing now because of fear, so many people would have missed out on that information that you're now passing. So my question is, what are some of the areas that people are missing out because of the fear that you're telling yourself that you're not able to do what they're waiting for? So you have the answer to someone else's problem, but because of fear and lack of belief in yourself, despite you being, I don't know, some may be a Christian, some may know the Bible, some may not, but for those of you that know what the power that is within us, and we don't use it to do what we know we have the ability to do, then we're allowing ourselves to go limited. Now, for a long time, I was telling and living myself a lie. But the funny thing is, it was not my own lie. It was somebody else's. Now, raise your hand if you've ever heard about Santa Claus. Anybody? You've heard about Santa Claus? Or for some, it's the Tooth Fairy? Okay, good. By the way, we know that Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy is not real, right? Just putting it out there so nobody stones me. But when you were growing up as a child, you heard that, oh, Santa Claus is going to come down the chimney. You leave the biscuits and the milk for him. And you believe that even if he didn't have a chimney. You didn't stop to think, well, we don't have a chimney. You just believe Santa Claus is going to come down the chimney. Or you put the tooth under the pillow and you say, money is going to come. And your parents put the money under there and said, you know, the Tooth Fairy left it for you. And for a long time, you grew up with that belief. Yes. But here's the thing. It wasn't really your belief. It was the belief that somebody else passed on to you. So the question is, how many things are you living by that you're believing today that's not really your belief? It just became yours because you decided to accept it and take it. So that's what happened to me. For a long time, I was taking and accepting other people's belief about me. So I was in an abusive marriage and I was told I was ugly. I was told I was fat. I was told nobody would want you. I was told you're an idiot. I was told so many things that I chose to believe. And for that reason, at one point, attempted to take my life. So now, think of that caterpillar.
Yes, Lord.
Going through the process. So I was going through the process and I was wondering, why is all of these things happening to me? But I didn't know what God was going to use it for at the stage when I become a butterfly. So that is the thing. So you're going through some things and you're not understanding fully why. But it's about trusting and recognizing. And since then, I remember being in church, and I remember one day Pastor was preaching, he was talking, the preaching was about what there is something in your hands. And he was saying, because I have a son that they say has special needs, so it was very challenging. In fact, at that time, when he was about 3, he would damage the whole of this place. So as a parent, I would be scared to go anywhere to bring him. I would not want to go. I would not. And Pastor was saying, but you now have the tools that other parents are now waiting on. Why not put it in a book? But you know, I just started writing it. Just go to work, write one word here, write one word there, until I met a lady once, and she was really in distress with her child. And I went over and I was assisting her. The child calmed down, and the child was even kicking her. Went and told her sorry by the time. And she was like, what is it that you did?
Wow.
How did you do this? So I was now talking to her. She said, you don't understand. So I said, spend some time with me to see if I will understand. So I was now sharing my experience with her. And she said, and you're working, and you're doing this. And I said, yes. So I now realized that somebody's really out there that needs this information. So I wrote the book. And from that first book, I've now written 2 paperback books and 2 ebooks. And from there, it's opened up opportunities for me that I never imagined. Always keep in mind that caterpillar. Yeah? And I'm going to share some stuff with you. For some people, they do it for showing off. For you, I want to show you because then, when I was the caterpillar, I would have not believed that I could be that butterfly. And I'm sure the caterpillar felt the same. Because it's an ugly process. You don't want to, the caterpillar doesn't want to see that ugliness at all, but you have to go through it in order for the beauty to show. That's it. So from that opportunity, I've been able to work with so many people that I've only seen Afar. I was able to work with Bob Burke. He's from America. He's one of the richest men in America. Done interviews. Met John DiMartini, for some of you who ignore him. But then I received a letter of commendation from Her Majesty the Queen for my book. And I was thinking, how comes this caterpillar would be able to get this opportunity if not by God's grace? It's nothing that I'm doing at all. Just trusting the process. Yeah?
Process. Process.
Then I was able to go. So I remember even when I started, Pastor always say, we always pray, and you're saying that, you'll be able to enjoy and achieve things that you've not even paid for, but you're just praying these prayers. That's what I'm talking about. You just go to, it's about believing, being in between the fear and the believing. Because sometimes we say we have faith, but unless you take the step, you don't really see the movement. It's the action. If you think about it, if we're going to go into biblical terms, think about every time when somebody had to receive healing. Take up thy bed and walk. It was action. Everything was applied by action. Yeah? And then I was able to go to Bali, all expenses paid. I didn't pay anything. Not for hotel, not for the flight, nothing. And I was riding through on this quad bike for the first time in my life. I'm going on a quad bike. Going through the mountains, and I was talking to God. Going through this, I was just talking like, how do you go from the caterpillar through those ugly emotions to now be able to be enjoying this? I'm looking at the people that are around me that 2 o'clock in the morning, I am advising these people. And I'm saying, this is God. I'm just sharing it with you to know that if you have a business idea, if there's certain things that you are seeing from afar that you want to achieve, but you're saying, for me, it's not possible, just remember me. Because I know where I was, and I know where God's process has enabled me to achieve.
And greater heights.
Amen. Then I remember again going to a speaker's academy and starting for the first time. I was sitting down in a seminar like this, and I'm hearing all of these people. They're millionaires, they're business people, they're this, and I think it was Sister Funke that was saying, don't judge your achievement based on somebody else's. Because I was thinking, me, I'm a small fry amongst these people. I was supposed to go and speak, so I said, let me go to the toilet first. I was praying. I was in the toilet, no lie, and I was praying. I was saying, God, I don't know what I'm going to say when I go out there, but when I go, just let me talk somehow. So when I finished, they were saying, how many years have you been with the academy? I said, it's my first time. They said, it's your first time. They said, are you serious? I said, yes, it's my first time. So when I left, I was thinking, maybe I can actually really do this. So let me go again. And then even somebody's in the room now, she met me there. I was one of the mentors there when she attended. And it's just amazing because I'm saying, God, this is me. How is it possible? Now, out of all of these people that I'm thinking throughout the whole world that's in the organization, this year I received Ace Mentor of the Year. The caterpillar, right? I was able to go and speak in Dubai for free as well. But the most important thing, none of that matters. Like, what matters to me the most is about being able to make an impact. About being able to help other people that are going through that caterpillar phase to recognize and know that it is possible. Nothing else touches my heart more than that. And one of the passion areas for me is Women Be. That's one of the events that I do for women. The next one's going to be hopefully in March. And that is what touches me. For somebody to say to me, you have made a difference. All the money in the world, everything, yes, money is good to have, but when somebody can have that testimony about you, it makes a complete difference. And I'm mindful of time, so I'm just rounding up quickly. So what I wanted to show you is that when you go into your process, for instance, I always say, if Pastor didn't decide to become a pastor, maybe I would have not met him. Maybe he would have not been able to make the impact in my life for me to now make impact in the life of others. Now, these are some of the people that I've been able to help, and I take a picture of them for the reason that I keep telling myself that if I did not allow myself to believe, maybe they as well would not be able to believe. And that is what you need to tell yourself. Whatever it is that you do, say to yourself, if I don't do this thing today, who am I causing to lose out on there tomorrow? Who is it that I'm making the cause? And now it trickles down. You know, as Mommy tried to pronounce the last name all the while. Ennie, right. I'm not used to calling, you know, somebody that is of a respectable status, you call them by first name is somehow, yeah? But it trickles down because, as you rightly say, you can't be saying one thing to your children and you're living something else. They have to be able to see it. And another accomplishment was Alicia. She's here today. So I need to make sure that she connects with, is it Joshua or Joel? Joel. Last year she attended, so she's written a book, My Little Book of Positive Affirmations. And so she's my youngest child at the moment. And she won an award for the Global Authors Award. Yeah? And to me, I'm saying to myself, if I wasn't on that journey, maybe for her it would not be possible. Because every day she says to me, Mom, I want to be like you. But for me, I'm pushing her because I want her to be greater at whatever it is that she wants to do. You know, but if I wasn't doing it, then how would that be possible? But I want you to think of 3 things. I'm going to leave you with 2 things before I go. 3 things. Yeah, Alicia, you can go back that way. And her book is at the back as well if you would like to purchase it. It's £5. So it's about positive affirmations to help children to get up and say affirmations and believe. As she said, change your word and change your life. So that's her theme. So I want you to think about 3 ways of productization. Anytime you're thinking about your business, you're wondering, can I really do this to make it work? 3 ways of productization. The first one is what we call the DIY. Do it yourself. So for your clients, they'll be able to do it themselves. So it could be in the creation of online courses, books, whatever it is that you can create that your mentee or your clients will be able to go and do it themselves. The next level of productization is do it with you. Do it with you. What is it? For instance, this is a do it with you. So like this event, it's a do it with you because Pastor is giving the content, speakers are giving the information, and we're helping you through that process. So it's a do it with you. So it could be a seminar, it could be a workshop. Then the next level is the do it for you. So for instance, the do it for you would be the one-to-ones. Would be something that, there's so many things out there that people cannot do that you do with your eyes closed. You don't realize it. There's so many things that you can do and others struggle to do it. So some people think about business as being very complicated. You would be surprised. Maybe it's to get the job that you have. Something as you may be looking at it, say, oh, it's simple. I apply for jobs, I get interviews very easily. And I may say to you, you can make a business from that. You say, how is that possible? But guess what? There's somebody that is out there that is struggling with that.
That's it.
The Job Center, for one, they fund programs in order to come in and help people to get work because they want people to get work. So you just have to think about 3 ways of how I can productize my services. What is it that I do well? What is it that people say about me? This writing, I didn't know it was going to come, but people always ask me, edit my letters, or edit this for me, have a look at that for me. So that is how that idea then came. So what is it that you do, and you do it very easily. The next thing is creating value for time. Systemizing your process that you create value for time. I'm giving my time and I'm providing value. How can I break it down? So for instance, you have different level of products. So you don't have to stay with the one way. For a period of time, your business may go so far that you won't be able to accommodate the amount of children that will come through your business. But however, there may be other things that you can provide for those people. For instance as well, there may be some people that cannot afford your high-end products, but then maybe they can afford an audio, or they can afford a membership site. So you may have a membership site for people to log on to, and some of these things may sound like jargons, but guess what? There are people out there that can create this for you very cheap. You have pages such as Fiverr, you have pages such as like Source Bottle. If anybody wants some of this information, they can see me at the back of the room, that pay for this information. Source Bottle is a place where you can go on and you can tell them what your expertise is. And when something comes up, and I'm not talking about just in the UK, overseas as well, anywhere in the world, they will get in touch with you. It might be they want you to write. When I put in there, the first time I was writing for a magazine, I had put it there. I didn't even know they would get in touch with me. I started writing for a magazine. So anything that you're doing, it could be plotting here. All you need to do is show the content and you will be able to do it. So I'm rounding up. So a few things that I want you to remember. You were born, and I got this from Pastor and I use it everywhere. You were born an empty book. Empty. Your actions, what you do, that is what decides what is written in that book. So your page for 2019, it may still be empty. It's what you do with it that will determine what's going to be written in your next chapter. As I said, you can't go back and rip out the pages of yesterday. You know, that boyfriend you didn't want to meet, or you know, the job that you didn't want to have. You can't go back and correct that, but you can decide what you're going to do with your tomorrow. Because only you can do that. So are you going to continue to allow others to write in your book?
Good question.
And that's what I'm going to finish with. Are you going to continue to allow other people to dictate to you what is possible, what you can do, what your limits are, and who you are? Because only you can make that decision. So that is what I would leave you with, because guess what? If I was able to do it, then yes, you can.
That's it. Can we appreciate Dr. Michelle? Please give her a very big round of applause. All right, because of our time.